Hello everyone, I am Dr. Milind Jamdhare, working as a assistant professor in botany at Srimati Narmadabai Nagar Chaudhary Arts, Commerce and Science College, Kusumba. I am going to deal with your botany paper second, that is plant physiology, for this semester. The syllabus is already uploaded on Google Classroom. You can download it for your further studies. Before starting to actual teaching, one thing I want to tell you that you should make some notes along with this video, because taking notes will be helpful for you to better study. When you write something, it will help you to understand the things better ways and also very convenient to study. Of course, all the videos regarding these lectures are always on the classroom, but writing notes helps you to better understand the concepts. So, I would like to tell you that you should take notes of every lecture. Okay, in the subject of plant physiology, in this semester we are going to discuss various chapters like Introduction to Plant Physiology, Plant Cell and Water Relation, Absorption of Water, Ascent of Sap, Transpiration, Mineral Nutrition and Absorption of mineral salts, Plant Growth and Phytohormones. Okay, so these are some chapters which we are going to study in this syllabus. Okay, let's start one by one chapters. The first chapter which we are going to discuss is Plant Physiology Introduction. In this first chapter we are going to discuss the introductory part of plant physiology, its scope and importance. Basically, the term physiology is derived from the Greek word that is physis and nature. Physis and logos. Physis means nature and logos means discourse, study or discussion. The literal meaning of this word is the discourse of nature of plant. It means the plant physiology is a discourse of nature of plants. It is about the growth, differentiation, maturity, reproduction and death of the plant. It means whatever the things happens in the life cycle of plant, that is the study of that is known as plant physiology. Right from germination to the death of the plant, whatever may be the changes occur in the plant, that is the study of that particular is known as plant physiology. In that we can there are various things like growth, differentiation, maturity, reproduction and death of the plant. How the things are happen, that is most important part of the plant physiology. Actually, the plant is differentiated in various parts. Under the soil there is a root part and above the soil there is a shoot system. It comprises various parts like leaves, flowers, fruits, etc. Each and every plant has its own peculiar structure and has own functions. Each and every part of the plant engaged in different functions without interference with each other. Like roots are engaged in absorption of water and minerals, while plants are doing photosynthesis as well as transpiration at the same time without interference to each other. The flowers are engaged in reproduction, or that is the reproductive part of the plant, and the fruits are doing storage and dispersal of the seeds. The total shoot system is conducts water and minerals and organic nutrients through its xylem and phloem elements. All the things are doing simultaneously without interference with each other. So the things, how this is happen, that is we are going to study in the coming lectures. For complete understanding of plant functions, it is necessary to understand the structural organization of the organs and organelles which perform these functions. On the basis of that, the plant physiology is defined as the study of structural and functional relationship of plant. Or the physiology is a discourse of nature of plant. It is about growth, differentiation, maturity, reproduction, and death of the plant. Okay. So structure and functional relationship. How the structure is there and what functions they are performed. Their relationship, that is known as the plant physiology. As we know, the plants lack locomotion, which is the most important function of the animals. For that purpose, with this function, the animals can move from one place to another place for in the search of water, food, and shelter, and reproduction also. But plants have lacking this function. They cannot move from one place to another place like animals. So they have to complete their life cycle on the same place where they get germinate. So by 24 hours in a day, or years to years together, they are exposed to the given condition, whether the favorable conditions or unfavorable conditions, they are always exposed to given environmental conditions. Due to this, plants develop several chemical and physical mechanism. So the environmental conditions may be heavy rains, maybe there winter heavy cold, maybe there, or sometimes it faces drought conditions, or sometimes they also face the waterlogged states. So the plants develop several physical and chemical mechanisms to overcome for these unfavorable conditions, like high wind, high temperature, waterlogged states, drought condition, heavy rains, marshy or saline and alkaline soils, etc. The plant physiology probes about the cellular, biochemical, and biophysical mechanism of the plant developed in order to perform their functions under such abiotic stress condition. Even though whatever may be the given condition, unfavorable condition, the plants tries to survive themselves or adapt themselves as per their environmental conditions. For example, You might have been seen the plants which are present in the desert. They adapt themselves as per the environmental conditions, because in desert the water scarcity is there, so that there is a very less amount of water is available to the plants, or a negligible amount of water is available to the plants. So the rate of transpiration is very negligible. The transpiration means the whatever the amount of water which is evaporated through the stromata, that is very less amount of water is transpired from the plants, because the plants have been adapted themselves as per their environmental conditions. Sometimes the leaves are modified into spines. Sometimes stem there are some, for example, cactus plants are there. In cactus plant, you can see the small spines are there. That are nothing but that is the modification of the leaves. Because of that, the percentage of evaporation of water is very less. Okay. The plant physiology tries to explain how this seasonal functioning is possible in the plants, like germination, flowering are the seasonal events. The seasonal events, you have been observed that in a rainy season most of the plants are get germinated, and when their life cycle completes they get dead, and in between they gives flowers and fruitings, and after that they become dead. These are some seasonal events in the plants, and the physiology is tries to explain all these events in the life cycle of the plant. The plants have developed several defense mechanisms to protect themselves from the disease-causing bacteria, fungi, and insect pests, as well as herbivorous animals. You might be observed that some other animals cannot eat some plants, or some animals can never eat some plants because because of some alkaloids or phenolic compounds in there. That's why they cannot. Their taste is bitter, so that they avoid some plants to eat. Or in some plants, they are disease resistance from some bacteria, fungi, insects, pest. So these are some peculiar characteristic chemicals they develop in their cells to protect themselves against such disease-causing microorganisms or herbivorous animals. For this purpose, they mostly developed by several disease-fighting and anti-herbivory chemicals like alkaloids and phenolics in their bodies. The plants also has to perform a major function, that is the reproduction, and for this purpose they needs pollination, and for pollination purpose they should attract the insects and birds and other animals for their pollination. So to perform such type of functions they have to produce special colored and scented chemicals like flavonoids in their floral parts, so that the scented colors and special colors or bright colors and scented chemicals tries to attract insects to themselves, and with these insects the pollination can be carried out. The plant physiologists worked to isolate and identify them and investigate their biosynthetic pathways and uses for mankind. The functions involving energy transpiration reactions, photosynthesis and respiration are the cellular and performed by the special organelles. These two reactions or these two energy transfer reactions are most important part of the plant physiology. Because of the photosynthesis process, the life is present on the earth, because the plants are the only ability, or the plants have only ability to perform this function, photosynthesis, or to trap the light energy and convert it into the usable energy, that is into the glucose, with the help of water, carbon dioxide and chlorophyll pigments. And after that, respiration is the second most important reaction, in which whatever may be the food material which is prepared in the process of photosynthesis, that is broken down into simpler form, and large number of energy is released for the various activities. These biochemical pathways and bioenergetics is already worked out by the plant physiologist. In fact, all the plant functions takes place at cellular level. They recognize, or they analyze at tissues and organ level, and finally performance of whole plant is judged. Whatever may be the activity, whatever may be the function is there, that is carried out in the cellular level. After that is analyzed by the tissues, and that is after that the whole plant performance can be judged. Understanding the plant physiology of economically useful parts of the plant important to increase the yield, like leaf in tobacco, fruits in fruit crops, fibers in cottons and other fiber yielding plants. There are many plants which are very economically very important for various purposes, like there are some rubber plants also, some tobacco, fruit yielding plants, fiber yielding plants. These are economically important plants. So so we can improve the quality and quantity of the product when we can understand the physiology of a plant, and then we can increase the yield of the particular product. Overall healthy growth of the plant forms the basis for increase the yield in economically useful plants. In this way, the complete study of plant physiology requires the knowledge of all branches of plant sciences, including morphology, anatomy, genetics, etc. After that, scope and importance. The plants are, as we know, the plants are primary producers in our ecosystem. The photosynthesis forms the basis of the productivity in our ecosystem. Plants are primary producers because they are converting the light energy into usable energy, and the energy is transferred to secondary consumers, primary consumers or secondary consumers. Okay, so they are the basis of the productivity in our ecosystem. The physiological performance of the plant decides about how much raw material that can be plant produced in the given environment. The knowledge of plant physiology can help not only to predict the performance of the plant, but also manipulates its growth. Actually, when you saw a plant, if you have some knowledge about the plant physiology, then you can decide, or you can predict the how much raw material can be obtained from the plant. If you saw some plants, a cotton plant is in a very which do not have a good amount of water for their growth, or very less amount of nutrition for their growth at that time, or unhealthy plant at that time, you can predict that this cannot give you a much productivity. Or if you see a healthy plant there, at that time you can say that this plant gives a very good amount of yield. That is the physiological prediction of physiology. When you understand the physiology, at that time you can predict how much raw material they give. Or sometimes we can manipulate their growth also. If some plants do not, or if some plants do not give us more yield, at that time you can manipulate their growth also, like sugar sucrose in sugar cane, oil in oil seed plants, rubber in rubber plants. Okay, so this you can manipulate with some your physiological knowledge. The plant physiology helps to manipulate the plant growth to achieve higher yield. This can be achieved by the external application of nutrients, hormones, and other growth nutrients. For example, ethylene and carbide for ripening fruit. Nowadays, in market there are banana. You can see the bananas and various other mangoes. They are ripened by the carbide. Or in a newspaper you can read such type of news out there that mangoes and other fruits are ripened with the help of these chemicals, carbide. The huge amount is there. Actually, this is banned for the ripening purpose, but even though some producers are using this carbide for the ripening of food. This is the when you want early ripening of the fruits, at that time you can use these chemicals for the ripening of food, of the fruit. Or gibberellic acid for grapefruit development, or indole acetic acid to cause the flowering pineapple. These are some growth regulators which with the help of which you can get maximum or early development or maximum yield of the raw material. Okay, the fruit physiology deals with the development, ripening, nutrition, and the yield of the fruit. Its study helps you to increase the yield and quality of the fruits. After that, the post-harvest technology develops a way to store harvested plant parts like grains, seed, fruits, tubers, etc. for long period without spoilage. When you understand the physiology of the plant, at that time the post-harvest techniques you can do very effectively without any spoilage. For suppose you want to store some grains, at that time you should dry them, and after that you can store them. If there is a little amount of water present in it, at that time the whole grains may become decay, or that will become spoilage. Or this type of technology, or this type of things you can understand only when you study the physiology of plants, and the shelf life period of fruits and vegetables can be improved with the plant physiology. The plant tissue culture is employed in the micropropagation. Now this is the very much important emerging branch of the botany, that is plant physiology. With this technique, various plants were cultivated or were new quality improved plants are prepared. The phytochemistry provides the scope to understand and isolate active chemicals responsible for medicine and other properties of plant parts. Phytochemistry, it means the whatever may be the chemicals which is present, or whatever may be the important chemicals responsible for medicinal use, that can be isolated from the plant parts. There are various plant parts like roots, stem, leaves, seeds, flowers. Some chemicals may be present in their roots, may be present in their stem, may be present in their leaves, and other parts also that can be identified and isolated by these plant physiologists. Nowadays it is in great demand in pharmaceutical industries, because most of the chemicals are biological origin or plant origin. For example, the anti-malarial drug is also obtained from this cinchona plant, or many alkaloids or many glycosides. There are many alkaloids are isolated from the plants. Okay, the knowledge of plant physiology helps in protecting plants living under biotic, unbiotic, or abiotic or biotic stress condition. The biotechnologies technologies like production of transgenic fermentation of fruits and plant residues for edible and fuel alcohol respectively. Food processing, production of herbal medicine, pigments, flavoring agents require the sound knowledge of the plant physiology. These are some branches in which the knowledge of plant physiology can be employed. The student of plant physiology is very much known things like the fermentation process, or the transgenic plants or fermentation process, or plant residues for edible or fuel alcohol, etc. purposes. All above the points of importance highlights its scope also. The student of plant physiology not only knowing the plants by their names, but also its chemistry, functions, and performance. So he can exploit the useful plants and also help them perform well. Due to this knowledge, they are in good demand in industry based on the plant products nowadays. The students of plant physiology are well versed in biochemical techniques like chromatography, electrophoresis, centrifugation, all types of spectral analysis of plant physiology, and histochemical and plant tissue culture studies. In plant physiology, these all techniques are studied. Chromatography, electrophoresis, centrifugation, these are all the process. These are all techniques which are helpful in the study of plant physiology. This will help them to join laboratories involving in plant biotechnology, agri business, pharmacy business, etc. They can also establish their own ventures or their own ways or their own business in tissue culture, nursery, landscape gardening, phytochemical analysis, etc. They can provide consultancy services to pharmacists, farmers, and peoples involving in the business with the products as a raw material. These are some techniques which are used in the physiology, that is electrophoresis. This is electrophoresis. This is TLC. This is the centrifugation. This is tissue culture technique. With these all techniques are helps in the plant to study the plant physiology of the plants. With these are various ways. Okay, so this is all about the first chapter, that is the introduction to plant physiology, in which we have covered the introduction, scope and its importance. So regarding this chapter, the definition of the plant physiology is important, as well as the scope and importance of the plant is also important as concerned to the examination. So take the notes of some of the points of this chapter, which will useful you to understand this chapter more effectively. If you have some questions, you can send me a message or ask me in Google Classroom. Okay, thank you.